every instinct tells you to either hunker down or run for it. Poland chose a third option: build a steel wall, wire it into the sky, and put teeth on everything that moves. This is the story of a country that looked at its history, looked at its map, and decided to go all in.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, we're going to be seeing a video today. All right, this is a recommendation, and this is titled "How Insanely Powerful is the Polish Military?" All right, I know so many of us don't know the strength of the Polish military. All right, so from this video we are going to find out the Polish military strength. All right, so if you're curious to see this with me, please subscribe. If you find this video interesting, do what to like, share, and subscribe. All right, so guys, let's jump in.
Imagine standing on the edge of a storm. The wind is up, the barometer is falling, and every instinct tells you to either hunker down or run for it. Poland chose a third option: build a steel wall, wire it into the sky, and put teeth on everything that moves. This is the story of a country that looked at its history, looked at its map, and decided to go all in on deterrence. How insanely powerful is the Polish military? Powerful enough that the answer won't fit in a headline. And by the end of this episode, you'll see why Warsaw has turned into NATO's busiest construction site. If you're new here, welcome to Military Hub, the channel where we turn defense jargon into real-world power and strategy. If you want clear cinematic analysis, buckling drama, and zero fluff, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe. Let's set the baseline with the number that decides everything else: money. Poland didn't just nudge its defense budget, it spiked it. From 2.7% of GDP in 2022 to roughly 4.2% in 2024, the highest in NATO that year, and projections pushing towards 4.7% in 2024 in 2025. That's not a headline flourish. That's a sustained, multi-year funding line that moves entire divisions, not just press releases. It also places Warsaw at the forefront of Europe's rearmament wave and signals a new norm. 3% for NATO is the floor. Poland is racing above it. This increase in defense budget is not just a number. It's a tangible investment that is yielding real-world results. But budgets are only scary when they turn into things. Enter Tarcza Wschód, the East Shield. To think of a 700 to 800 kilometer defensive ecosystem along Poland's borders with Belarus and the Kaliningrad exclave. Old school obstacles, trenches, and hardened nodes are combined with new school sensors, counter drone nets, and pre-positioned engineering stocks. The goal is simple and merciless: slow an attacker, break their tempo, and funnel them into kill zones covered by artillery and air defense. It runs from 2024 to 2028 on a dedicated program line, and it's already moving from renderings to contracts. Poland is not just building a fence, but a battlefield that always puts the enemy on the back foot. The technological advancements in Poland's defense system are truly impressive, showcasing the country's innovation in the field of defense. The second pillar of Poland's rebuild is a sky shield most countries dream about and only a few can afford: a layered air and missile defense that actually talks to itself. At the high end sits Wisła, Poland's Patriot program integrated with the US Army's IBCS command network. Poland became the first foreign IBCS operator, achieving basic operational capability by the end of 2024, and has been progressing toward full operational status through live-fire events in 2025. Translation: multiple radars, multiple launchers, one fused pitcher, and faster kill chains against ballistic and cruise threats. It's the difference between hearing the orchestra and hearing the song. Warsaw has even inked a near $2 billion support package to keep the Patriots humming, because air defense that can't be maintained is just a costly lawn ornament. Drop down a layer and you hit narrow, the short-range umbrella that fills the gaps and travels with maneuver formations. Poland and the UK's MBDA have locked in a mammoth agreement: more than 1,000 CAM-ER missiles, over 100 eye launchers, and technology transfer that seeds Polish production lines. The plan scales to 23 batteries and 138 mobile launchers, with deliveries expected to run through the next decade. This system, often referred to as the no-fly-for-you architecture, is designed to deny the enemy the ability to operate in the airspace above the battlefield. It's a formidable defense against helicopters, low-flying aircraft, and incoming cruise missiles that survive the initial cut. It also plugs into the same digital nervous system, so shooters, sensors, and commanders aren't swapping voice calls, they're swapping firing solutions. If you're still watching, by the way, you're exactly the kind of viewer this channel is built for. The detailed, patient ones who don't just want explosions, you want consequences. So, consider subscribing now so you don't miss the next breakdown. Let's get back to how this changes the game. And then there's Polska Plus, Poland's point defense brawler. Starting in 2025, CAM missiles began rolling into the Polska Plus batteries, marrying guns, electro-optics, and SAMs for base protection and critical infrastructure defense. The Polska Plus system plays a crucial role in Poland's defense strategy, serving as a last-ditch defense against drones, loitering munitions, and leakers. The logistics and training pipeline is funded out to 2029. By then, Polska Plus will be everywhere you'd least want to attack. Stack Wisła, Narew, and Polska Plus, and the Polish sky stops being empty air and starts being a layered factory of nope. A quick detour to the shoulder-fired level, because it matters more than ever. Piorun, Poland's man-portable air defense system, didn't just make the highlight reels in Ukraine, it made production history. Meshko and PGZ are now producing roughly 1,300 Piorun missiles per year, with ambitions to double that number, and the export list now includes close NATO neighbours like Sweden. In a world where swarms and low flyers are the daily grind, this is the sort of industrial muscle that keeps air defenders from going hoarse. Also, yes, someone finally found an objectively cool missile name. Piorun rolls right off the tongue, if you're not a helicopter pilot. Let's bring the sword onto the stage. On heavy armor, Poland has executed a two-track leap. Track 1, Abrams. The country ordered 116 M1A1s to backfill urgent needs and 250 brand new M1A2 SEP V3s to anchor armoured brigades. All 116 M1A1s are already in service, and as of late September 2025, Poland had received 85 of the 250 SEP V3s, with the rest due by fall 2026. This isn't PowerPoint armour anymore. These are real battalions training in Mazovia and Podlaski, under divisions designed to fight, not parade. Track 2, K2 Black Panther. After the first 180 K2s, Warsaw signed another 180 tank package in August 2025, worth roughly $6.5 billion, with domestic production baked in at Bumar Lebendi. That's not just buying tanks, that's buying the ability to make tanks, which might be the most Polish sentence ever written. Mechanized infantry needed a new ride to keep up with those beasts, and it's getting one. The Borsuk IFV program transitioned from the whiteboard to metal. The first 111 vehicles were ordered in March 2025, with deliveries planned from 2025 to 2029, and HSW scaled its factory lines accordingly. Pair that with new Rosomak wheeled carriers fitted with the ZSSW-30 turret, contracts signed for dozens more, and you get infantry that can swim, shoot, and actually survive, which is a refreshing change from the 1980s. Artillery is where Poland stops whispering and starts shouting. On the rocket side, Warsaw split risk and timeline between the US and Korean supply chains. The HIMARS path, HOMAR A, sits on a framework of up to 486 kits, with active negotiations for more than 100 launchers proceeding under that umbrella. In parallel, the HOMAR K program acquired 218 K239 Chunmoo launchers, with a follow-on contract for an additional 72 signed in 2024, and deliveries are progressing with Polish trucks and battle management systems. That gives Poland a deep strike, high-volume rocketry ecosystem under two flags, and is increasingly being developed inside Polish factories. Smart hedging, serious range. On the gun line, the picture is just as loud. K9 Thunder howitzers have rolled in by the dozens each year. 24 in 2022, 42 in 2023, 70 planned in 2024, 2024, and more than 80 targeted for 2025, while Poland's hometown hero, the AHS Crab, resumed deliveries after donating significant numbers to Ukraine. The current schedule has crab batches dropping in 2025, 2026 and 2027. By the time a would-be invader crosses the frontier, they're walking into a map tiled with 155mm and rocket grids, and that map is only getting denser. Air power is the other half of the kill chain, and Poland has decided to own both stealth and mass. The F-35 Hussars program is in motion. Jets rolled out in 2024, training started at Ebbing Air National Guard Base in Arkansas, 7 airframes have come off the line, and deliveries to Poland begin in 2026, ramping to 2030. Sustainment packages and spares are already flowing through the DSCA pipeline, because nothing says deterrence like parts in a warehouse. Meanwhile, the FA-50 fleet gives Warsaw an affordable, plentiful trainer-light fighter bridge. The FA-50PL gets an AESA Phantom Strike radar, turning it into a far more credible shooter. And then there are the Apaches, 96 AH-64Es under a record deal signed in August 2024, with 8 airframes leased to stand-up crews and tactics. When you add up F-16 upgrades, F-35 arrivals, FA-50PL integration, and a wall of Apaches, you get an air-ground team built to mulch armoured thrusts and shred exposed logistics. Poland's navy doesn't pretend to be a blue water titan, and that's a strength. The Baltic is a small, sensor-rich, missile-heavy arena where denial beats glamour. The naval missile unit that's kept Russian captains cautious is being expanded into a naval missile brigade, equipped with additional NSM coastal defense squadrons. Deliveries on Poland's big NSM order are slated through 2032. Overlay that with the Miecznik frigates, an Arrowhead 140PL derivative with modern air defense, and a steady drumbeat of Cormoran 2 minehunters entering service in series through 2027. What you get is a coastline that bites, sea lanes that are swept, and a surface picture that makes ambush the default. The rule in the Baltic is simple. The side that can still move mines and missiles after week 1 wins. Poland is building for week 2. Hardware only matters inside a plan, and Poland is reorganizing for the fight it expects. The revived 1st Legion's Infantry Division slots in beside the 16th and 18th to saturate the eastern corridor. 4 brigades, modern artillery, and embedded air defense plugged into East Shield infrastructure. The Territorial Defense Forces hover around 40,000 volunteers, giving Warsaw light infantry that knows every bridge, forest cut, and village grid in the border voivodeships. On top of that, the government is building a reserve pipeline that aims to train 100,000 volunteers annually, starting in 2027. This is the people factor of deterrence. Lots of citizens who can pick up a rifle or a radio and make an invader's day long and expensive. Let's stitch the pieces into an actual fight, because doctrine is just a fancy word for what you do under stress. Day 1 begins with ISR, Polish radars, NATO aircraft, and a thicket of ground sensors feeding IBCS and local C2 nets. Long-range fires, HIMARS and Chunmu start cutting road and rail nodes, ammunition parks, and staging areas. As the attacker hits East Shield's obstacles, they slow, bunch, and expose flanks. That is every artilleryman's favourite sentence. Borsuk IFVs carry infantry through swampy ground that bogs older vehicles, while Abrams and K2s sit on the shoulders, whack the armour at standoff, and reposition under cover of layered air defence. In the air, F-16 and FA-50 fly standoff carriage with HARMs and JASSMs, while the F-35s sneak and kill radars. Anything low and slow meets Politsa Plus, Pioron, or a joke about gravity. At sea, NSMs trap hostile ships in the southern Baltic, and Mieczniks push air defense umbrellas over key corridors. That's not theory, that's a playbook built from the ruins of Hostomel, the trenches of Avdiivka, and the Black Sea drone wars. Now, let's be honest about the hard parts, because this channel respects reality. Rapid growth strains recruiting. As of mid-2025, Poland's total force sat a bit above 200,000 in uniform, with about 150,000 professionals, growing to 300,000 active troops while fielding entire families of new equipment is a logistical and training knot. Crews, maintainers, and spare parts all have to keep pace with procurement headlines. The government knows it, hence the reserve training push and a public conversation about broader readiness. In other words, the plan is ambitious, and the bottleneck isn't money, it's time, people, and grease. Industry is the quiet success story. Poland has not limited itself to shopping, it's building. K2PL tanks will be produced domestically. Chunmu subsystems and munitions are sliding into Polish lines. Narrows missiles and launchers come with a serious tech transfer package. Pioron output has turned Poland into a NATO-level supplier of handheld air defense, and loitering munitions orders in the 5-figure range, yes, 10,000 warmates, are rewiring how battalions plan fires. If deterrence is the confidence you can replace what you lose, then Warsaw is investing in exactly that confidence. Zoom out to strategy. Poland sits on NATO's most dangerous seam, the Suwałki corridor and the Kaliningrad-Belarus pincer. The answer isn't a single silver bullet. It's a layered, redundant, coalition-friendly force that can fight tonight and sustain next month. That's why so much of Poland's kit is compatible with US sustainment, why its air defenses are built around a network the US Army uses, and why its navy is optimized for denial rather than showing the flag. It's also why Warsaw keeps nudging NATO upward on spending. At 4+%, Poland isn't just meeting the standard, it's redefining it for a bad decade. Let's run a lightning round. Myths versus the map. It's all imported. No, the K2PL line in Gliwice, the CAMMER tech transfer, the Piorun and Warmate numbers, and Krab and Borsuk lines say otherwise. The Navy is weak. In the Baltic, power is denial. More NSM squadrons, Miecznik frigates, and Cormoran II mine hunters are precisely the right shape. It's a peacetime flex. Ask the accountants. Multi-year funding, sustainment contracts, and factory expansions aren't tweets, they're commitments. Also, nobody jokes about spending 4.7% of GDP for fun, except maybe YouTube commenters, and we love you for it. So, how insanely powerful is the Polish military right now on a cold November night in 2025? Strong enough to make a Russian general redraw his arrows. Strong enough to anchor NATO's northeastern flank with real divisions, real magazines, and a sky that shoots back. Strong enough that the key question in Warsaw isn't can we hold, but how fast can we hurt anything that tries to break in. That's what deterrence sounds like when it's built with railcars, not sound bites.
Okay, this actually sounds great, all right, but we are not particularly sure how true this video is. At least 60 to 70% of what is being said in this video is true. Then I'm really happy for Poland, all right, for trying to upgrade, for trying to achieve a whole lot this past years. All right, share your thoughts in the comment section. All right, if you're in Poland, do you think everything in this video is true? Let us know in the comment section, because I know a whole lot of people will have their little doubts about this video. All right, thank you for suggesting, and see you guys on my next one. Bye.